Mabuhay, Kamustika, welcome. How are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. Applying game and red pill concepts to marriage and family creation? What do you think about that? Subscribe to Love Beyond the Sea, where we will go where no man has gone before, into relationships and marriage from different angles, and where I share as discreetly as I can what I have learned in being married to an amazing Filipina for 4 years. If you need to know it, then I want to talk about it. Share these videos too, and as always, your comments are welcomed. Now, this is a quick review of Mr. E's recent video about our men being sold a false bill of goods. And he started, I want to take an opportunity with this video to educate the audience on being discerning and being able to think for themselves. He said, I'm very concerned and alarmed how many men in the manosphere and red pill take the word of many commentators within the sphere and try applying their path to their life. Yes, he seemed distressed and passionate in his commentary, and by the way, I may not agree with every last thing Mr. E says, but I have welcomed his thoughts, as many of them line up with my philosophy and can help this channel. I agree that it is dangerous to embrace teaching that can lead to ruin, but the men who adhere to the kind of behavior he was denouncing don't go into it thinking they're believing something that will end up either wasting some of the best years of their life or even making a mess of it. People that aim to take money from someone to help them have a certain kind of life or some kind of success often are peddling it because it's popular and they profit from it. There's no way they can have an adequate follow-up, though, to their disciples. And even worse, sometimes these purveyors of truth don't even live out their own teaching, which is one of the things he was talking about. If you're going to end up making an error in judgment, it helps to recognize that as soon as possible. Because our lifespan is fleeting and unpredictable, we really need to make good decisions and try to think through them as best we can and consider the ramifications. I wholeheartedly endorse getting advice, asking for wisdom in important matters, but it is essential to get that from reliable sources. You would assume they would be walking the talk, but sometimes that isn't the case. Erroneous advice in relationships can be damaging emotionally to the point of giving up on them altogether. As you can tell on Love Beyond the Sea, I am not bashful to offer relationship advice on how to have a good relationship with a Filipina, but here's the qualifier. I am not inventing the wheel. I am espousing, no pun intended, what I believe are time-tested truths and realities from the Bible. I want to understand it, use it, and help others to do the same because I believe it is true, and it has certainly helped me a lot. I'm not going to even charge for it, like he said in his video, charging for advice. What you will hear me say on this channel is that biblical teaching is true and trustworthy. Living it out in a marriage will require much patience, forgiveness, and unselfishness, and I'm trying to do that myself, and so is my wife of 4 years. Where I blow it, I tell you, while trying to protect privacy, because learning from the school of hard knocks delivers a good education. I can speak with confidence because I believe the Bible tells us everything that we need to know to have a good marriage, and I believe most people should get married. I personally don't care what I think because I did not invent people, the institution of marriage, or the urge for people to get married. I advocate marriage because marriage is the only place to provide for real relational needs. He says, but what is evident from me watching and being a part of this sphere for such a long time is concepts of game and the red pill should be applied to marriage and family creation instead of pumping and dumping barflies and sluts like most men do. Well, that is an interesting take on game and red pill concepts and applying them to marriage and creating a family instead of using it for one's own gratification. Remember, Mr. E said he had an epiphany in this area of how to look at life. I will link his full comments in the description in case you missed them earlier in that video. I think it's noteworthy that he finds men are turning from hedonistic pleasure to marriage or wanting to be married now. I know from communicating with the enigmatic Mr. E that some will realize very late in life that they have been pursuing empty pleasure, and unfortunately it may be game over for them. It would take a whole live stream or two to dig into the unfortunate mess many relationships have become, but suffice it to say, some long-time advocates of just do your own thing don't want to do their own thing anymore because they aren't happy. Another way to put it is they are unfulfilled. There's a void of meaning in their life. They have followed the wrong leaders. The question could be asked, are they now too jaded for a real relationship? Is it just too late? If some men have been avoiding responsibility and the occasional clash with their wife and needing to reprioritize some things, they're not going to grow as a person to the degree being married does. Marriage toughens you up because you don't always get to do what you want when you want, and you need to put the needs of your wife and children above your own. While that may sound very unattractive, I think it makes you a better person, a better employee, a better citizen. You grow as a man. Boys do what they want to do, men do what they have to do. Marriage can certainly make you into a man, but of course, you need to make a good choice and marry a good woman. And I am aware how bad marriages have a crippling and demoralizing effect, and no one wants a bad marriage. It is absolutely regretful that society has become what it is. He continues, I make no illusions that the situation is dire in the West and marriage is not in vogue. However, most men, marriage to a woman overseas, the brown pill is the solution. The brown pill is the attitude that if I am going to get married, and I need to, then I am going to break new ground, go to a new land, a new part of the earth to find the wife I need and treat her right. A man might be in the fall or winter of his life and not want to be alone. He realizes he still needs a companion, and he will go to the ends of the earth to find one. That's exactly what I did. In fact, that was the genesis of Love Beyond the Sea. Now here's the main part here that he ended with. In conclusion, I will share this wisdom with you free of charge in order to fix the problems in your life. Look for a mission. Men need a mission. They need a mountain to climb and conquer. And that's the end of his quote. Now you can phrase this in your own words, but my mission is my wife's good. I am the only man in the entire world commissioned to meet her various needs, to give up my life for her, to be her servant leader. And that is the case because I proposed to her and I married her. I am responsible for her. That doesn't mean that she is incapable or that she is weak. It means I am to protect her and provide for her. As a Christian, she is my church and I am her Christ. And I am to make sure she sees Jesus in me, not me in me, because that is plain ugly at times and she has seen plenty of that. I think of her all the time. I pray for her. I compliment her. I want her to know she satisfies me and she fulfills me. I want to build her up and pick her up when she needs it. I want to be strong for her. When it's all over, I want her to look back at our marriage, our love story, and know that I married her to be good to her, and that I was. Add in having children, and my mission would get even larger and more challenging, but also more fulfilling. A paradoxical Bible verse I've always been intrigued by is, he that saves his life will lose it, and he that loses his life will find it. Many men believe, or have been led to believe, that by focusing on themselves while they are the mission, they will find the best life. I think, though, what actually needs to happen is for us guys to lose our life by investing it into a wife and possibly a family. Then we will find what joy and fulfillment life can actually provide. But it starts by seeking the good of someone else. When I was single, which was for far longer than I wanted it to be, there were some years I was able to focus on some kind of ministry at church that, offered some kind of satisfaction. But it didn't really last long because all I could see was the married couples and dating couples, and that I was alone. While it was nice to be involved with something bigger than myself, being alone definitely got in the way. Since I got married, loneliness and frustration and a lack of purpose doesn't happen anymore because we are husband and wife every day and are together and can plan a future together. So the old distractions have disappeared. It's easier to focus on others when I'm not licking my wounds all the time. Having this mindset will go a long way when you go a long way and find love beyond the sea. So that is my commentary to his thoughts. A lot of it matches up. Again, I said I will link his comments for you so you know exactly what I am commenting on.